Howdy you guys, my name is Bryanna Molina and today I'm going to be talking about what Navy boot camp was like for me. So I wanted to do a little bit more of like an in-depth video specifically only about boot camp. It has been a while since I have been in boot camp now. It's almost been two and a half years or so. I don't know if I remember everything like day by day, but I definitely remember the big things that like stuck out to me that I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know boot camp was gonna be like that. And then like it ended up being like that. So let's get right into it. So moving on to the next topic, I guess would be like the actual other females. Boot camp was really hard for me because I grew up with a lot of women in my family and everybody is like just really like, you know, supportive of each other and like sweet to each other, and like I don't know, my family always was really like uplifting to me and my sister, and like amongst us we were all very uplifting to each other. And also my sister and I were the ones that like got moved away. We became the distant part of the family. My mom moved us to Florida and all the rest of my family is up north on the East Coast. So I always had like positive memories of my family. I never had to deal with like, you know, the day-to-day dramas between family members. So all the memories that I had with my family were like in this positive light. And then on top of that, my mom just liked moving in general a lot because I don't know why. So like every year of schooling from the 6th grade all the way through my high school years, I was moving like every year. So I would make a girlfriend or two and I would be cool with her, and then I'd be like, all right guys, I'm leaving. And they're like, what? And I'm like, oh yeah, I move like every year. And like I just never really like had these like deeper connections. I was just cool with people and then like I would be on my way, and it was always like one or two girls. I wasn't like super popular, I wasn't super out there, and that's just how I lived my school life. So I remember in high school is when I actually started getting like more a bigger group of friends, and it was really cool or whatever, and like I liked it, and like I found my group of people and it was really cool. But then when I went to boot camp, it was a complete shock to the system because the girls were mean. They were like all so mean, and I know that we were all tired, and I know that we were all like hungry and like stinky and smelly and whatever you want to call it. Like we were just all under high pressure, but everybody was just like in competition with each other for like our puck. Everybody was just like yelling at each other how people need to be doing better. Other people were defending the ones who sucked. I was one of the ones who sucked, and they were just like, you know, this isn't a big deal, it's just boot camp, like stop, you know, trying to like make it a big deal. It was just like this whole competition between these girls, and I just always used to be, because I was a top rack, I just always used to be like looking down on them, literally, like just like I'll be like, why are they fighting about this? Like I would just sit there and like I knew I was horrible at boot camp. I knew I freaking sucked. I was definitely a helper in bringing our scores down, but I wasn't mean. Like I wasn't mean to anybody. I didn't snitch on anybody. I didn't get in like trouble with the RDCs individually that much. I just wasn't really good at anything. So for me it was like I was like, I'm not here to be mean to other girls. I'm not here to rat out other girls. I'm not here to cause problems. I'm here to pass. I'm literally here to pass. And as far as I could tell, I was passing everything. Not with flying colors. I wasn't doing great, and I definitely didn't have like outstanding military bearing or scores in anything, but I was passing, and I was like, that's enough for me. So watching all these girls kind of fight and bicker, I have like people always ask me like, how bad was it? I'm like, it was kind of annoying. It was definitely kind of annoying, but I also understand some girls like to come from military families. Some girls don't, so there's some people who like this means a lot to them and they like want to do the best that they can in boot camp because they have something to prove, and then other people like more like me had nothing to prove, so it was just like I'm just trying to get through. And then even for those who had nothing to prove, I was the type who I had nothing to prove, and I also wasn't going to waste my breath fighting about it. But some people aren't like that. They like were like, I'm just here to pass, and they were going to make it known. They were vocalizing it, you know. So I understood all different types of aspects of the different females in my division. It was just tiring to be around it. I was just so ready to get out of boot camp because that's such a temporary time and space that I was just like, this really isn't that big of a deal to me. Like I'm just unhappy and I'm sad and I want to take longer showers and I'm super tired all the time, and I know I suck, so I know some girls probably hated me, but I was just like, you can hate me because I'm not about to sit here and be that hurt about it. I'm just gonna get through this, and then we're never gonna see each other again anyways. So that was how it was with the other females in the division. I guess the other big thing would be the interesting thing in boot camp that I learned about was like the showers. It's legit. You don't have a lot of time to shower. I remember we used to literally get like 10 minutes maybe to shower, and it wasn't like each. It was like we had big communal showers, so it was like 5 different shower heads, and like 2 or 3 girls would like try to like go in between a rotation in that little water supply, and then that's how you would shower. And it was like You couldn't wash your hair every single day. You did not have time to scrub every inch of your body. You hit the hot spots, as they call it. So obviously your lady junk and your underarms and your feet maybe. I hit all of them because I could not be dirty. Like I would be literally like wetting my hands in the sink and like beginning to lather as I was in line to get in the water because I was like, I need to be clean. I don't know how I made it. I still don't know how I made it. I really don't understand how I made it through that because it was awful. And honestly, you lose so much hair and you just like don't ever feel really clean, in my opinion. I don't think I ever felt like, yep, that was a great shower. Even on Sundays when you get like a little bit longer to shower, you still don't feel that great because the water's freezing and you still like it doesn't make up for the week of trash showers that you got, you know? So I hated hygiene in boot camp. It was the worst. And there's no kind of like, oh, it gets better. It doesn't really get better. All I can say is that when I first got to my A school, the first thing that I did was I was like, I want to take such a good long shower, and I did. It was fantastic. It was so good. And I think that's why I love long showers now even more, because I'm just like, I was robbed of like long delicious showers for 2 months, and like now I take like fantastically long extra hot showers, and I don't know, it's just boot camp scarred me, so I have to make up for it. I think the last big thing would be sleep. Technically, I think they're supposed to give us like 6-7 hours of sleep every single night. I don't really remember like the rules because they are required to follow certain rules. But if we acted out, we would sometimes have assignments. Right. Sometimes you would have to write out your Sailor's Creed like 10 times. Sometimes you would have to write down like your orders of a century. It just all these different things. They would make you write out all these things all throughout the night. And like I remember I used to be one of the people who like actually used to write it out the full amount of times that they asked, because I was terrified that if one day they went through them and like found out that I skipped some, that I was gonna get in trouble. So for more than half of the assignments that we did, I think it wasn't until like the last 2 assignments that I would like, if they told me to write it out 10 times, I was like, I'm gonna write it out 8. Because I would be up, because me and my friends, she used to stay up with me, and we like used to sit there and be writing, and it has to be legible, otherwise they get mad at that too. So it was just like we would be up for like a good hour or two just writing out all of these freaking orders and all of these like creeds. So I remember that, yes, the last few times I did not have the best honor because I would just turn it in, but they actually didn't ask. Like the last few times they didn't ask like, did everybody write out the full amount? They would just collect it and then literally throw it in the trash right in our face, just to prove that like they had it like that, just to prove like, yep, I just made you stay up all night writing these and trash, and you're just like, you didn't even look at it. So between the assignments and sometimes the bickering amongst the females, you would miss out on precious time that you could be sleeping. But me personally, like I said, I didn't like partaking in the bickering. I literally never said a word in those nighttime conversations amongst the girls. I would literally just turn the other way and like fall asleep because I just did not feel like it was worth it. It wasn't worth it to me to sit here and talk about it. Like I really cared about sleeping way more, because the other thing I was known for in my division, besides my polka dot backpack, was that I fell asleep everywhere at all times throughout the whole day doing anything. Like I would just be, I don't know what my problem was, but I was so exhausted. I had never, I guess because I love sleep, like I didn't realize how much I love sleep till like after the military, and my sister like would send me memories and I would just be like sleeping. She would always record me sleeping, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really love sleep. I remember when I went to battle stations that they when they gave me my group, the group that I was in, they were just like, all right, everybody, your job is to keep Molina awake. Like that was the first thing my group said, and I was just like, it is true, you guys. Please make sure I stay awake, or I'm gonna get us all sent back to our division and we're gonna fail battle stations because of me, because you cannot fall asleep during battle stations. That is your final like big test in boot camp, to test everything that you learned over your last 2 months. And if you fail that, like you just like restart and you have to like go back in training, or I don't know what the heck happens. I really don't know what happens if you fail. Like I think you really do like restart all over again boot camp. I don't know, but I was terrified that I was going to be the one that cost us. So thankfully for battle stations, I don't really remember falling asleep that much. So at least I can say that I made it through battle stations. I didn't fall asleep too much. It was hard, but you know, we made it. And I think for the most part, those are a lot of like my biggest boot camp memories. I think from the food to the fellow girls to the sleeping arrangements to falling asleep constantly to all the different trainings that we had. It was just a unique experience. It was just nothing like what I expected. I think I kind of expected that I could learn what I needed to learn and be really good at boot camp. And for some, I think they were just naturally good at it. But for someone like me who wasn't like militaristic at all and had no experience with it, it's like I kind of just wasn't expecting to be so bad at everything. Even like the academic part, like when we had written tests, I was at least used to being a good student, but I remember I failed like my second test. The first one I passed by like one question, which was like already embarrassing. I was like, oh my gosh, if I missed one more, I would have been like one of those people who failed. At least I didn't fail. And then I failed my second one. So I ended up having to do remediation and like studying with people, and I never felt like dumber in my life because I'm like a straight A, maybe occasional B student, and I was just like, I feel so dumb. But it was like about topics I never knew, like what does, ensign wear, or what does chief wear on their uniform, or what is that, like all these Navy related questions. And I was like, I don't know anything about the military. And I was like, I hadn't really studied it prior to going to boot camp. I probably should have, and maybe I would have done better, but that was a big adjustment for me. So everything in boot camp, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I struggled deeply with. I struggled with a lot, but like I've always said in all of my other videos, and I will continue to say, I remember right before boot camp someone told me, do not count the days, count the meals, and that's what I did, and it really worked for me. So you guys, that is basically what I remember from boot camp. I probably can make a bunch more videos about individual experiences or individual questions, so feel free to ask me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to keep on putting out more and more content for you guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and direct me in any other things you might want to see on my channel. All right, bye.
Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky like